Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, I've made my first 6'8 build in 2K26, let alone the first build that isn't 6'10. So, as you can see, I'm really getting adjusted to the whole shiftiness of this build. I must say, it's a lot faster than I anticipated it to be. I will also say there's a couple of little key secrets and stuff that I'm going to share with you guys later in this video of how to actually move faster, and it's the most ridiculous stuff you ever heard. It's about body shapes as well. So that's just my take on it. I know there's a lot more to get to in the video, but I do still want to talk about that, and not to mention, as you can see, a lot of the SIGs, like the behind the back, is much more unlocked on a build like this as opposed to the 6'10s. Pro is pretty much all we got for good downhill behind the backs, and it's not good at all for the standstill movement. Not to mention, you guys have seen I'm snapping some ridiculous ankles with this, and also because this build gets 86 ball handle off grip naturally, gets the silver ankle assassin, I'm plus wanting it up to gold, and it's really just been constantly stunning people and, you know, getting the ankle breakers off. The fact that I do a lot of snatchbacks of that pro step back. Yes, I'm still running it over D-Book. I do feel like it's a little bit better for the movement. Not to mention, as you can see, canceling that behind the back from the Devin Booker behind the back and getting into the snatchback off that as well. I'll break down the clips and stuff a little bit later in the video, but I do still want to show you guys the build as well. But again, I've been using this D-Book behind the back quite a bit right here, as you can see, and then also using it in the standstill as well when you flick that down diagonal to the offhand. It's a lot more like sophisticated dribbling on this, to be fair, than the 6'10, but it's also a good thing. Not to mention, as you can see, that Hall of Fame strong handle popping up right there, it's actually been somewhat reliable as well. I never normally do stuff like that, but when people are bodying me up, it actually gives me animations like that for whatever reason on this build in comparison to my 6'10, didn't at all. Alright, so let's get into the builder. I will have some gameplay for you guys after this as well, a 2v2 game. It will showcase the dribbling bag a tad bit, but I will let you know I've been improving a lot over the last couple of days. I made the build like 2 days ago, and the incremental increase of, like, you know, learning that I've done over the last 2 days has been pretty big, because obviously I'm brand new to anything of this nature. I've been playing only on 6'10, so obviously there's a tad bit of learning to be done for me, and shout out to Yadman Gaming and stuff like that, Glock, all these dudes I've been kind of, you know, sponging up some information off of as well. So anyway, let's get into the build though. As you can see, this is what I decided on final of what I wanted to roll with. Now, originally I was thinking something more along the lines of, let's say, a 6'8" that also got all the way up to like 94 D-board and maybe 91 strength as well. So something more along the lines of like 232, or for instance, also we could have got up to like, let's say, you know, the 96 D-board or something like that as well. I wasn't really messing with that, to be real with you. I already had tried, and actually I'll show you guys. I even have a build right here that we can back out and show. I have a build that I created at a heavier weight and actually maxed out the ball handle and speed with ball, and I just was not messing with it. As you can see, it's the 6'8", 232, and I wanted to shave some weight on this and went down to the 219. I just didn't like the idea of the heavier builds, and shout out to Toots. I'm shouting out a lot of YouTubers here in this video, but I've sponged up a lot of information with this stuff, and I want to bring this to you guys as the video of the accumulation of all of that information as well. And Toots' video was showing that heavier builds, you know, consume the stamina faster and stuff like that, and obviously that's been a thing in 2K for a while now, but yeah, it was something that I just wasn't comfortable really going into, with the idea of every dribble move I do costing more stamina when I could just go lighter on the weight and really maximize the speed and perimity and all types of stuff like that anyway. So let's get into this. Let's go ahead and show you guys the build now. As we already mentioned, it's the 6'8" lock and board play slash right here. 6'8", so it can be also at the shooting guard, and then 219 on the weight, 7'2" wingspan. Being shooting guard is nice for being able to line up at the point in, let's say, things like rec, fives, pro-am, point and threes, the 1 and 2s, whatever the case may be. I want to line up at the smaller position more often than not. Okay, so here are the attributes. If you want to go ahead and try and modify things yourself as well, feel free to, and honestly, I'm always down to hear if someone made a better version of my build as well, and I guess, shamelessly, I'm willing to be the guy that spends money on better versions of the build. If someone happened to find something like that as well, that's a big incremental difference. But I spent quite a bit of time on this trying to find the cap break of exactly how to get the 78 3-pointer for that silver set shot, and just the comfortable ratings that I've been sitting at for a while here, as well as 93 dunk, and also I want to set up for the pass accuracy to eventually go to 93 to get the Hall of Fame break starter and Hall of Fame dimer at 92. But as you can see, I set this up to where the cap breakers worked out really well for me. So when I get the additional cap breakers of 3 of them right here for hitting vet 2, I'll be able to get those remaining 3 pass accuracy right there. And then for any season 1s after that, or anything like, you know, that comes after, I might put it in a free throw. I'm interested in running this for 5s as like the point guard, point center, if you will. Now, the downside of this build is obviously the offensive rebound is a tad bit lower and my standing dunk is lower. Thing is, a lot of these standing dunk animations that you'll ever see me pop off in the gameplay and stuff, as long as you're moving or driving into the standing dunk, you get the driving dunk ratings to pop off on the dunk meter. The only thing that is a drawback in terms of the standing dunk being so low is that you are limited in terms of the obviously standing contact dunk packages, but you can't even get them at 6'8", 6'9" anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I also went 83 driving lay. I really want to show you guys some stuff like this, so I really will show you the animations in just a second here, but wanted to try some things like James Harden Euro, the Zach LaVine Euro, for instance, as well. Wanted to just have an unlimited bag in terms of like animations that I saw were also things that I would want to access, so definitely wanted to roll with at least 82, decided to go 83 just for like some DeRozan and, you know, LaVine potential, essentially. So it's a little bit of a lost attribute, but I don't know, 82 is what I needed for Harden, and I 100% wanted the Harden Euro package. So either way, you know, I mean, it was a decent way to go about things. So with the pass accuracy, the way that I have it set up too, getting those +2s early is kind of cool, just getting to 90, and like I said, eventually we get those +2, +3, get that Hoff Dimer, Hoff break starter, and then also getting that 78 3-point, 93 dunk for the gold poster, paired with 80 vertical, has good speed, good agility, and strength as well, more for defensive purposes, but also still wanted that silver brick wall as well. So yeah, pairing it with the 92 D board and the 84 O board, this is truly a point center that is a little bit undersized instead, but it fits my style a little bit more. I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of 6'8s, you know, whether it's like all the park sweats you'd be playing against, or Joe 6'8, or Yadman 6'8, or everybody 6'8, right? This is my style of 6'8. It's the point center style that has the maximized O board and D board, gets that gold rebound chaser that I obviously have also specialized on the rebounding to that point as well and have finished. So with the specialization and stuff, I have +2 on the rebound chaser for legend. So even though it only has 84 O board, it does still have the Hoff box out beast and legend rebound chaser. And the D board is where I'm contributing quite a bit more as well, whether that's for the sake of being switchable. And I really must say that 65 interior D and 74 block has been getting the job done. I really do feel like I can switch on the screens against not really post scorer centers, but like any other center that isn't so capable of like a mashing high close shot rating, essentially, stuff like that, or like a 7-4 in the paint or anything like that. So if it's more of like a pick and roller, pick and popper kind of guy, you can easily match up with those and be able to switch on the screens. So this really can play lockdown defense. I mean, 92 per rim, along with the high agility, speed, and strength as well, really just makes for great defense. And to still have the 92 D board and be switchable, you can play like a back end as well. Now, it does only have 60 steal rating, but I feel like that's also playing into my style. This is a lot just built for me. And if it happens to be something that is built for you, more power to you as well. But I just wanted to show you guys what you're maybe going to be seeing on the channel a tad bit more from me right here, because I really do think optimally this is a better 3v3 build because it plays better perimeter defense and can just match up, you know, and stop people from getting threes even more than my 6'10 was. And I've really been pleased about my 6'10's defense so far. But this is obviously a little bit more optimal in terms of the speed, perimity, all types of stuff like that. Gets on-ball menace as opposed to the 6'10 doesn't at all. Again, the ball handling ability and the ability to just move better makes it a better fives build, if you ask me. And I would even say as a pick and roller, it's been a lot better as well. So the thing about this as well is that I do have, as you can see, slippery off ball on gold. Now, this right here is also kind of overpowered as a pick and roller sense, if you ask me. It really does feel like I'm able, whether it's the speed that I have of being like almost 10 higher, or also just the slippery off ball being on gold as opposed to none because the 6'10s can't even get it, it does feel like a pretty big increase and a big difference. So I don't know. I'm not trying to write my 6'10 off by any means, though. It's a great build, and I've spent so much time on this. And I'm not going to lie, the Giannis dribble style does feel a little bit more comfortable of like an easy dribbling build. Like this build that I'm on right here with the LaVine dribble style doesn't feel quite as like simple, if you get what I'm saying. It feels like a lot of things are a bit timing based and like really have to do things precisely. But that's because there's a lot more bag to be had. And like I said, 10 more speed with ball going up from 68 to 78 is a pretty big difference. You may be wondering, why didn't I go 80 speed with ball to get blur? I'll actually just rebuild all of these attributes right here. I'm gonna just take a quick little screenshot of it, grab it on my iPad, and then I'll just go ahead and punch everything in on the builder to show you guys why I didn't end up going with an 80 speed with ball version. Okay, well, actually, I don't even really have to do that. I can just simply do this and show you that the maximum defensive rebound, or even offensive rebound for that matter, that you can get for a build that needs the 80 speed with ball to get blur takeover is down to an 80 O board and an 87 D board. It's quite the incremental difference, if you ask me, in terms of the fact that it doesn't get the gold rebound chaser and it's 5 lower in general. Not a fan of that, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of people, and not to mention it only gets 74 strength as well. So in the trade-off of getting like a less, I don't know, by 2 max speed right here. As you can see, mine goes down to 86 speed instead of 88. Perfectly fine with that. Not to mention the agility does go down quite a bit, down to the 83 instead of, let's say, like as you can see, what you need for the 80 speed with balls, more along the lines of like 88 agility. Again, I'm okay with that, personally. Mine's meant to be more of a point center style. It can get into pick and roll situations a lot more and feel comfortable as a brick wall screener, not to mention also just, I mean, as I already said, I specialize in rebounding, so brick wall will naturally find its way getting +1 or +2 somewhere in there while I'm playing 5s. And again, it's a more mobile center build while also still having really good driving dunk, the O-board, D-board, the versatile defense and stuff like that. And obviously, like I said, I still want that high strength, and I'm okay with taking a little bit of a hit on the speed in order to get, obviously, more strength and more D-board right here as well to get that rebound chaser. So, cool with me, you know? And again, I will make note of the fact that the weight and stuff like that is obviously a big deal when it comes to dribbling and the stamina conservation. So this is like the middle ground of like I told you, I didn't want that like 232 that you have to get, or like 231, whatever it was, to get the 94 D-board. Not a fan. Wanted to go a little bit lower. Box out beast, I'm cool with being a little bit lower. A lot of the rebounding on this build is going to be a lot more speed oriented. I'm not going to be worming people on offense. I am going to be simply running around them and trying to get into those running start rebounds with the like super crazy, you know, jumping ability that you get on those. So anyway, that's my little explanation right there. But yeah, I will show the SIGs in just a second. I do want to talk to you guys though about what I was literally getting at in just a second ago in the video of I tried broad today in my like runs a little bit more. Honestly, forgot I even changed this, and I felt like I was so moving terribly and like boxed up, and just kind of like the incremental difference of the bursts felt worse. Now I saw Toot's video talking about how the body shapes changes the way that you move as a ball handler, not as an off-ball player, but truly just as a ball handler. And I must say, toned so far, absolutely the best. Shredded is like, I just don't even know if I want this aesthetically. It's kind of weird as a dribbler to be coming out here looking like this, to be fair. But I don't know. I'll give it a fair shot though, as far as like the dribbling animations. I will give this a shot, you know, tomorrow. But so far, I've just been more pleased with toned than broad. And again, I really must shout out Toots. I don't want to like play his footage because obviously his videos are pretty short and the point is very simply put, you know. So I don't want to steal his 30 seconds worth of the video that's super valuable and just make you not click on his video to see exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, toned 100% is the way I'm going with right now. And to be fair, if you were a little bit more of a slight build like Joe's, for instance, it probably would be a little bit more capable to get different body shapes that, who knows, maybe move better than toned or shredded or anything like that. So yeah, now let's get into the animations right here. So what I want to talk about that is pretty much the most important, and what you saw in the video for the most part, is I was running Shea escape moves. I'm here labbing a lot of different stuff, to be fair. Right now I'm giving a fair test to like the Jimmy escape moves and just using it a little bit more as like a hitting one move than running. It's a little bit better for that. Shea, I'll put these on just to show you kind of what I was getting at in the video. But yeah, for the D-book behind the back, it was going to be for that downhill, and then for the Shea escape moves, it was a little bit of a combo move. And we'll get back to the footage. I might just scrap the 2v2 gameplay that I was going to do this because I don't want the video to be way too short. But yeah, and then pro step back, also very important. A lot of people like running D-book. It's 85 ball handle requirement. It's still pretty good, but I don't like it as much as pro. I feel like pro is better for just kind of gliding into the runs a little bit better. So that's just my personal take on it. And then anything else, I don't really think the spin matters too much. I don't really use combo moves either, to be fair. I just have Tatum on right now. And then Sig size up Tracy McGrady as well. As far as the animations here go, though, as you can see, I'm running that James Harden Euro. I have Julius Randle Hop still. You can use this on bigs as well, if you'd like. And then I have the default swing for the spins. There aren't really a lot of good spins to pick from, to be real with you. And I mean, anything that you can pick from between like Zion, Randle, Magic, they're all kind of garbage. So I just have default swing on. DeRozan also pretty slow. You can see him in the previews. The gathers are really, really bad. And then for the floater, I'm running Bam. I was given a fair shot to LaMelo. I don't like the inconsistency, though. I don't like how it's not like a same animation every single time, no matter what area you're at or anything like that. Bam is a very simple animation that's just going to give you the exact same one every time. So, you know, it's obviously a little bit unfortunate we can't run that goated Sabonis layup, but the Bam floater is still very, very good, 100%. And then I have default swing on right now for the layup normal. I was using Jalen Green right here if you'd like as well. And then also, I figure you guys might want the jump shot too, and I'm down to share. I'm not really sure if this is exactly what I'm trying to roll with yet. It's, you know, the Scottie Pippen base, Sadiq Bey, and Larry Bird upper combo. I got this off 2K Labs. Shout out to them. If you want to use code LAKER at checkout for 20% off, feel free to if you want to get more access to the premium jump shot data and stuff. But anyway, yeah, let's get into this and kind of show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Also, shout out to the LA court we got right here. It's really cool they do allow this type of customization. But anyway, for the debook behind the back, if you hold RT and flick down diagonal to the right, it will, while stationary, give you these types of animations right here. Now, it's low-key decent. The only thing is, that's the drawback to the animation is a lot of things like Kobe White, for instance, will give you like a super explosive behind the back that is more cookable for three-point, if you will. This right here, though, sets up really good into that Zach LaVine cross launch. So doing, simply put, just a, behind the back right here and then running, pretty solid. Not to mention, if you give it enough time, you can kind of run out of it. I don't like it quite as much for that, and that's why I was running Shea on that behind the back when you saw me in the preview, looking at something different. But as you can see, if you give it the right amount of time and find the cues to the speed boosts, you can figure that out as well. But what I like more for running fast and doing the speed boost is the pro step back right here. As you can see, just being able to simply just glide a whole lot more. And that's just the standstill one. If you do it in the kind of more running downhill as well off the snatchback, you can still also run pretty solid. You just kind of have to do it a little bit more horizontal, to be fair. But anyway, another move that we were also showcasing in that video is the Shea escape moves. So I know normally to do an escape moves, you go straight across, and this is what's a little bit of the drawback of the animation, is it's not really a great, just simple escape move of holding RT and then flicking directly to the offhand. As you can see, it's kind of garbage. But what is nice about it, though, is if you flick to the ball hand, then the offhand consecutively, you get this right here. This animation that lets you get downhill and really I find it to be a really good crab move, essentially, or get people behind you and set you up for the dunks and stuff like that. So really solid move to have in your bag. I just wanted to show you guys a lot of stuff that we were showing in the gameplay. I'll have different videos soon showing different SIGs because obviously I'm trying out different stuff. But as you can see, this is the Devin Booker behind the back. I saw this at Community Day, almost like over a month ago, and man, was I loving the look of this. So like, for instance, I was seeing you could do, let me show you this BAM combo right here. Okay, so this is probably more the range that I can showcase something like this. It's not really something you'll see in game a whole lot, but I just wanted to show a couple moves in succession. So to do like a stationary kind of explosive behind the back, you can hold RT and flick down diagonal to the right stick while also moving your left stick in that direction, then get a regular behind the back while running downhill. And then as you can see, something like the BAM floater is really accessible in terms of like, the just range that you can get with it. So pair that with like the ability to get downhill with stuff like that, or as you saw in the clips, just doing this in traffic, like, being able to get into the downhill movement really fast. D-Book behind the back, I'm a huge fan of. I know Scottie Pippen's pretty good too, but this is the thing. It's like there's a lot of thorough, deep explanation things I want to talk about in this video, and I'm not really prepared to unload the whole clip of like, just all types of information on you guys. But when you get bumped, sometimes you get forced into this behind the back animation right here. And to give you a little bit of a thorough explanation, because I mean, that's who I am, Laker fan, I suppose. Let's just go ahead and do it. I'll go and actually change to this behind the back of that Scottie Pippen that I'm talking about. And what you're going to see is sometimes people like animations like this. Sometimes people like to do that super big explosive behind the back. It can really get open for threes and stuff like that. I don't know if people really mess with Scottie like that though, because it's a really elongated animation. It takes a super long time. Problem is, if you get bumped by somebody, sometimes it makes you do a double move. And let's say there's a defender on my right here. Boom, I do an accidental behind the back into him because I'm doing a dribble move, and then it just takes one because I'm getting bumped, makes you do two of them instead. Boom, you do that behind the back right into someone that's playing your offhand hip. It's over. You're not getting anything good right there. It's just not gonna end well for you. I'll put it that way. So that is why I kind of like the D-Book behind the back not being such a flamboyant, super ridiculous behind the back animation off the standstill, and I use those downhill behind the backs quite a bit as well. So to run something like D-Book behind the back is obviously pretty nice. Now, to be fair, let me show you guys some of the stuff that I'm just kind of looking at to be running instead, that I'm like looking at right now but don't have gameplay of, and we'll still break down those highlights as well in just a second. But yeah, so Jimmy escape moves and Shea behind the back. Now, here's the difference. This behind the back is not good for, let's say, downhill movement. It's absolutely not. But what it is nice for is if I do something like this, as you're going to see, you can instantly run downhill off of these. And I really do like this for the sake of getting downhill. So if you're finding it hard to actually speed boost on a build like this, this is going to easily get you downhill off something where you can just hit that down diagonal to the right. And it's exactly what I was just talking about, right? Of the animation I was just showing with the Scottie Pippen doing that crazy explosive one. You're just holding RT and flicking down diagonal. And as you can see, boom, like getting downhill with that. And then mixing in the pro step back as well. Boom, you can do like, all types of things in succession with that. Really good for getting downhill. Now, as far as the Jimmy Butler escape moves, this is going to be something where instead of doing that Shea double combo of doing that offhand into ball hand, because that's the animation you're going to see play out right there if you do that ball hand into offhand, aka right to left right here, it's not giving you that super crazy crab move that we were showing with Shea. Instead, what Jimmy does is it's a little bit more of like a back and forth right there, as you can see. And you'll be able to then, after doing something like this, get a much better speed boost animation, as you can see. And it's really easy to get into them as well, in comparison especially to, like, you know, the escape moves that I was just showing with the Shea. Because you can't do these, like, standstill movements like this at all with Shea. You have to, like, come out here and just do that double move combo, and I don't like that too much, to be fair. So it just depends what you're looking for out of your escape moves and behind the back and stuff like that. But like I said, it's kind of ironic because I want to ditch the Shea escape a little bit, but go to the Shea behind the back that you can see right here. And then I'm on the Jimmy Butler escape moves as well, because you can combo this back and forth pretty nice. I need to get better. Sometimes I'm doing this like between the legs instead of the actual like crossover. I don't know. I got a lot of labbing to do, fellas. I'm just here to show you what I'm rocking and what I think is like good info and good intel. And again, shout out to people like Yadman Gaming, even some SIGs that Joe has or something like that as well. I'm trying to dip into the bag a little bit. And then, like I said, Glock as well. So a lot of people are kind of an accumulation of stuff like that. But obviously, I'm kind of sorting through and looking for things that I want in particular that fit the style a little bit more of me, rather than like to fit some 3 hunting dribble head, you know. Like, I'm trying to get downhill quite a bit. But anyway, let's get back into that footage real quick. I just want to break down some of those real quick, and then that'll probably be all for the video. Okay, also, hopefully all this footage actually plays properly. For whatever reason, my playback on this has been kind of bugging when I record it. But anyway, right here you can see we're going into that behind the back. Once again, he already cut it off, so we're just kind of transitioning into that pro step back stuff. That's the Shea escape moves in action. Not exactly a huge fan of how slow it is if you kind of see that play out. Well, let me pause and show. It's going to be right here, as you can see. That's the Shea escape moves. Now, as you can see, it's a pretty long animation. You can eventually speed boost out of this toward the ball hand. So, not exactly the worst thing in the world, but obviously, you know, I've made a couple of tweaks and changes. But I like that pro step back right there. People like the D-Book. I'm a huge fan of pro. I was using it on my initial build as well, and I'm a huge fan. So, I don't know. That's just me, you know, showcasing it right here. Again, off the snatchback. And I use it a lot to get, like, you know, open for threes or to be able to speed boost off of as well. So, right here, as you can see, that's that behind the back with D-Book. It sets you up to that cross launch with the Zach LaVine dribble style. And then once again, as I see him playing a bit low, I want to step back and pull from 3. So pro is very capable of that. And then as you're going to see on this one right here, this is going to be where I do the the D-Book behind the back. You got to kind of have the right vision for this though. So this is where the slasher capabilities of D-Book with the behind the back gets unlocked, because you can see I'm doing this to move the ball hand from left to right and avoid this defender, but also you need to do it at the right time where these defenders behind you aren't exactly in an area where they're going to bump it as well. So it's a little bit more of a dangerous move. I don't encourage using it a ton, but in a situation like this is where it's fully unlocked and absolutely at its best. Downhill, in transition, or just to beat your defender that's playing a certain ball hand side, really important. And again, I've talked about that in previous years of things you need to know as a slasher. It's just, it's hard to have stuff like that in your bag as a 6'10" when all they really give you is pro behind the back. And it's a little bit slower, a little bit uglier, and doesn't really provide anything in terms of the, you know, stationary standstill movement like we've been talking about with that Shea capability or anything like that. So a lot more in the bag for sure with this. But anyway, as you can see, the breakdown combo, or not the breakdown combo, the blowout dribble off the transition right here. You can see Dre hits me, and then just to get up the court a little bit faster, boom, flick up on the stick. You can just kind of throw the ball out in front of you. Now, this is kind of cool about the D-Book behind the back I want to talk about. This is me doing the Booker behind the back, but I see this and I'm like, whoa, 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 this dude's way too tight and way too close, and I might fumble it if it continues that animation. So instead, with the pro behind the back, in mid-animation, you can flick down on the stick and it will cancel the behind the back and instead just flip the ball back into your hand. So that is a really cool feature. I really like that. I used to do stuff like that in 2K24 a lot, but you didn't have to do a second move. You would just essentially let go of everything. But now instead, you can see you just flick down on the stick and it'll cancel it. And as you can see, that pro step back, really capable of running and just being super, super fast. I'm running a pure speed with ball takeover as well. So when you see me at level 4 like this on my take, it's pretty much a plus 12. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, hitting that behind the back stationary into the cross launch, getting downhill, moving super fast again. It really is a nice build and a nice set of, like, you know, attributes and stuff like that. But anyway, this one right here, as we just mentioned, Shea escape moves, again, not a huge fan. You can see it's just not really the greatest combo, but again, if you do it with, I actually probably come to think of it, didn't even show you guys the combo in game or anything like that. I don't know why I didn't record any clips of that. But anyway, yeah, moving along. What is nice about that pro step back right here is you can see I do it once, and then I was planning to do it right there as well, and it kind of just does the strong handle animation instead. But you can see the vision of why I would want to snatch back right here. I feel like he had me cut off pretty good, and I was going to try and, like, you know, pull it back, maybe see if I could either A, get open for 3, or B, you know, get into the dunk to the left right there instead. But instead, it just completely shrugs him off and does that strong handle push away animation. And now I just have all the space in the world to shoot that. It's kind of crazy. And I'm not really a fan of the strong handle animation stuff because I really just don't know how much you can depend on it. But maybe I need to dip into the bag a little bit more. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to say that type of feedback in the video of like, yes, embrace the strong handle a little bit more. But it's just so much not my bag to do like dribble moves with people all up on me and right next to me. Because fumble animations are quite the thing, you know? Like right there, you can see I waited out the animation and just like kind of didn't get the embracing the bump, if you will. But anyway, that's all video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub, new time, noties, all good stuff. Like always, try to win 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video and you want to show support that you did, put 6-8 or put slasher in the comments. Show support you went through. And also, I'm gonna have a really fire rec gameplay of like it was against a pretty sweat rec team. They had to do the average like 48 or something like that. Point guard the average 28 and 10, and I decided to guard him. And man, not to mention the offense that I was doing on that was pretty fire as well. So I do want to drop that probably tomorrow or the day after, because I'm not gonna lie, there is a bit of information that I wanted to gatekeep currently that I'm learning, and I want to put it in a separate video. I probably will drop that tomorrow, and then probably the full rec gameplay the day after that. But don't expect to see me retire the 610 entirely. This is just, I'm having a lot of fun on this, and I want to test the waters of this and see if it really is just overall better for my style. If I do drop the 610 entirely, I do apologize to those who have followed in my footsteps and don't really want to spend another $100 to follow, you know, to this build. But I do want to just do this for my own sake. I want to try and learn if it's going to be a better build for Pro-Am, because 5s, I'm sure y'all saw by the gameplay, I'm not really capable as a ball handler enough against really good locks, and I need to be. So this is the type of build that I think probably could be that. But yeah, I definitely will give a fair shot to both builds and still try and find the right times to fit myself onto both of those. But anyway, that's all for video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, stuff new, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.